This is everything that's included in your LED lantern kit. This is the top to your lantern. This is the bottom. Notice the hole and the pocket hole. You have 4 pieces of acrylic. 2 are wide and 2 are skinny. Step 1 is to remove the protective film off of your acrylic. Some acrylic will have protective film on both sides. Next, you're going to take one of the pieces of sandpaper included with the kit, fold it in half, and you're going to sand your clear acrylic. Now, I like to sand the outside and the inside to give me extra diffusion of the LED light. You should sand this until it becomes very hard to see any light through or becomes an even frosted pattern. Repeat this on all 4 pieces. After you're finished sanding your acrylic, take one of your pieces of sandpaper, keep it folded, and try to sand any little burrs or any little defects that you see in the wood that you'd like to round off on the inside of the channel. After you're done sanding the inside of the channel, turn your block over and give it a sanding all the way around, all sides. I like to roll my edges a little bit to make it look extra clean. It's not necessary to sand the bottom of the bottom. Once that's sanded, move on to your top piece. And this is the piece that you really want to spend a lot of time sanding to make it look really good. Your next step is to take the wooden dowel included with your kit and the bottom of your lantern. You want to make sure that this dowel fits into this pocket. If it seems to be a little too snug, you can take your sandpaper and you can just twist and round over your edge a slight bit. It shouldn't need much. Once it fits, push it all the way in, give it a twist to make sure it fits in there properly. The next step is to glue the dowel into the pocket. We've included glue in your kit. You want to unscrew the top tube, then use this point to pierce the tip. Once it's pierced, don't squeeze this tube very hard or all your glue will flow out. It flows very easily. Replace the tip and then unscrew this part and your glue will dispense from the end of that nozzle. Place about 3 good-sized drops of glue on the dowel, then insert it. Make sure it's all the way down. Let it sit for about 10 to 15 seconds until the glue is dry. After the dowel is glued into your base, you're going to take your LED strip, feed it through the pre-drilled hole from the bottom all the way in until you reach the black protective wire insulation. I like to put mine on an angle and try to get about 4 evenly spaced wraps with about an inch space in between each wrap. Once you have a good idea of placement of your LEDs, you can go ahead and remove the sticky backing. Peel the blue film away. And line your LEDs back up in the space you previously determined. you'll find they stick pretty well to the wood. But in addition, what I like to do to keep them in place, before I get to the very end, I like to put a little drop of glue under here. And then I'll also put a drop of glue here to ensure that they stay on. After your glue is dry, your LEDs are in place, flip your base over. You notice there's a channel that the wires will run through. Flatten out your piece of wire as flat as possible. Get in there. You can bend it over to hold a little bit of pressure on it. Release a little bit of pressure. Glue. Pull this down over your glue. If you need to press down with something, you can. Try not to use your finger because this glue will dry instantly on your finger, but I like to sometimes use a piece of plastic. When that's dry, we can go on to the next step. Okay, after your glue is dry, your cables should be secure. Everything should be nice and dry. It's time to move on to the next step. So we're gonna face our 3-pin RGB cable towards us. I'm gonna start with the wider piece of acrylic. I'm not using the sanded pieces just for time right now as I'm showing you what to do, and also enables you to see through the piece. Start out with a wide piece, that across. Next, grab your skinnier piece, and this goes to the inside of the wide piece. Make sure that the wide piece is overlapping the edge of the skinny piece. Grab your next skinny piece, same thing. The outside wider piece is overlapping that skinny piece. Go ahead and try to fit your last piece in. Once again, take note, the wider piece is to the outside, skinnier piece is to the inside. The next step is ensuring that these panels are lined up, and then we will have to glue them together. I like to sometimes use the top to help align the bottom pieces. And once they are aligned, if you want to, it may help to take some tape. Hold your pieces together from the outside, pushing it on the inside. Line your edges up nice and straight. The straighter you are, the better this is going to work out in the end. But what the tape can help you do is hold it in place. You don't have to use the tape. You could just use your hands and hold it, and then come in and put glue here and here, and let that glue set. Once that's set and you like where it is, give yourself a good 30 seconds to let that glue dry. Come in on your other side, get it lined up how you want it. You can use tape here again if you need to. If you feel like the tape helps you hold it in place, by all means, do it. Once your corners are nice and square, try to make sure that you're looking good all the way up and down your piece. And then again, when it's nice and straight, everything's fitted. Glue here, here, here. Let that glue dry. So it's been about 30 seconds and my super glue is dry on one side. I'm gonna pick it up, and it's still a little wobbly because only the bottom is dry. Put it back in there. Make sure my sides are still lined up where I want them. Still wiggling around a little bit because just that one side is glued. And then come back with your glue here, 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 and here. Now we're just using a very little bit of glue. The glue will squeeze out of this very quickly, and you can use all of it in a couple of seconds. You don't need that much, just a few drops. So the next step in building your lantern is to take the tissue paper that is enclosed with the kit and go ahead and lift your acrylic off. Mine's not actually glued together, just for demo purposes. And I like to wrap the dowel loosely. And you can play with this however you like, but I like to give it a loose couple of wraps, sometimes maybe even a little less than this if I want it brighter. But these LEDs are very bright, and this will help diffuse the light. So you get that on there, then take your acrylic, slide it back down, making sure you're not pinching any of the paper anywhere. Go ahead and install the top to your unit. Sometimes you'll have to wiggle the top around. It'll fit one way or the other. It's all together. Your unit should look like this, only your glass should be sanded and frosted. The next step in your lantern is to install your electronics or attach your electronics. First thing to do, take your 3-pin connector off of your RGB controller, line it up so that the tab sits in the appropriate spot, push it in until it clicks. It's installed. The next thing you want to do is to remove the battery from your package and install it in your controller. If you notice the controller is a little tough to open, make sure you pinch that in, pull it out. Install the battery. As per instructions, it will tell you positive side facing up. After your battery is installed in your controller, if you notice when you push a button, the controller will light up at the top. Now we'll test our lamp. This is just a regular USB power supply. We'll run off of any USB. And there you have it. If you really want to make it look nice, add an oil, mineral oil, or a wood wax to this wood, and it'll really bring out the richness and color of this redwood. Or paint it or stain it, your choice.